everyone, and welcome back to Austin Talks, where today we are covering the Marvel's movie, because this is a movie that is just about around the corner, and I think it would got a lot of people excited, because this obviously I make a review, predictions on these movies, and Marvel's is looking pretty good right now, and so I think we need to break down this video, because we've got a lot in store. So without further ado, let's just get right into it. And the first things first is, obviously, when does it take place? I don't think my image could be clearer, but here it is. It obviously takes place during fall of 2025. Now, there have been many other movies and series where I've had to go through the depths of the internet to find this out. But this was actually the easiest task. I literally searched, when does this movie take place? It gave me a straight answer, so I really thank that. But there's also actually another way that you could have detected this, which is, if you look at the timeline for when Miss Marvel takes place, this movie obviously takes place directly after, if not during. So if you look at that and then apply that to this movie, it's quite obvious that it takes place during fall 2025. I mean, yeah, I had the assistance of the internet, thank you, but I also did look, and it said that. Now, this obviously movie takes place during fall of 2025, and there is no specific date, but we need one. But this is not that we need one. We don't really need a date. Well, at least we've got at least time period. But this is cool. But that it doesn't have to. At least I didn't have to break my back doing understanding when this takes place, which is all very good, very very good. Now, one question that a lot of people are not understanding is why they're not teleporting, why they are teleporting. Now, this was actually really confusing because we weren't shown in the post-credit scene. We were shown this in the post-credit scene and in the trailer of the Marvels, but we actually now have our answers from last year. Now, Kamala has her bangle, and in the post-credit scene we can see that she can touch it, and this triggers the teleportation swap. And this is because there's more than one in the universe, and this is in the use that links to the powers of Photon, Kamala, and Marvel. So when Captain Marvel uses her powers, it transfers Kamala. And when Kamala uses her powers, it transfers to Photon, and then Photon to Marvel. You get the point, it works in a triangle. And this is another reason of conflict, because it actually links with the main villain of the story, which is Darben, which I'll get into in a little bit later. And this actually somewhat makes sense now, because it's all to do with the bangle. And I'll explain on this, I'll touch on this a bit later, but Darben has a bangle as well. So when that's in use, and so is this, it will transfer any cosmic power and put it into, it will basically curl in on itself, which is why all the cosmic powers that can be seen by Photon, Kamala, and Marvel are all swapping together. Which also leads me to another theory that I'll get onto in a little bit later. But also, what's the plot of the movie? Now, honestly, the plot of this movie seems to be really dead, or at least not enjoyable, but here it is anyway. Carol has left the Kree, as we saw in the last movie, and is taking she's taken her revenge on the Supreme Intelligence. Now, this plan is disrupted when an anonymous wormhole appears, and that begins to entangle the powers of Kamala and Monica Rambeau and Captain Marvel, which is all actually to do with the powers of Darben as well. Together, this trio must team up to understand this anomaly, which leads them to meeting Darben, a not really nice person, but here we are. Now, this plot is not what the original plot was going to be, but the plot is not what we were hoping for in the slightest, but compared to other plans, this is just a bit of a joke. I'm not trying to be rude. I tried with this movie. It's not looking hopeful, but I'm not going to misjudge it just yet, because obviously I want to go and see it. I want to go and see it and want to see what it's like. But I don't want to misjudge it. I don't want to be like a movie where I don't actually enjoy. I go in with a bad face, and even if it's a bad movie, I don't I was right. I would like to go in with a fresh perspective. That's why I want to go and see this movie. And I'm not gonna be one of those people who goes, oh yeah, I know the movie's bad, so I ain't gonna see it. I'd rather still see it and know that I'm right, or you get the point. Now, along with this movie, we have new suits. Now, these are actually really cool suits, to be fair. I mean, Photon has got her, like, official new suit. I mean, she never really had one, but hey. Now, the suit changes really do signify a sense of character development in Captain Marvel and Kamala, but only Captain America and, Marvel, to be fair, as I say, Photon is a really new character. But the suit changes aren't really major. But this Kamala's new suit has more golden accents, which I think is more comic accurate and more full on. And this will actually think will carry on to the Young Avengers, which is another upcoming thing. And lastly, Captain Marvel's suit has apparently it's got a bit more darker accents, which will change throughout the movie because we can see at certain parts she has her old suit, and then in certain parts she has a really with darker accents or just a darker shade, which I actually think may signify that this movie may be her last. Which there's a fan theory. There's one I've read, but that legacy will be carried on onto the other two within the trio. And while it is sad, it is looking likely how that will be the case. But I do think Miss Marvel's new suit is really cool. I think the gold suit and great attachments and detail are really do reflect her character development in this movie, which is something I really do like to see, characters developing over time. And I think Photon, I mean, yeah, she's got a new suit and she's obviously got a new character, but obviously that's why I never said she's got a new character, but she's not a new suit, but she's obviously got a new character role. That's why I never didn't really mention her, because her new character is a whole new one, which is why it's surely here, right? Yeah, this is why I lead on to here. So this movie introduces us to Photon. This was teased for a very long time, it's finally here, people. This was teased in WandaVision, and it was teased heavily, but it still took a long time for it to make her to take her heroic form. I mean, it's been how long has it been now? 2 years, 2.5 years, yeah. And there isn't much to say other than the comic accuracy. So Photon and Spectrum are two the same characters now, but they are the same characters just with different names. Spectrum is a later on character, but Photon is how she actually looks right now, which I actually think is quite comic accurate. And I'm not having a comic accurate part in here in this movie, especially because a lot of it is quite comic accurate. Now, there isn't much to say other than the comic accuracy, as I've just said. The powers are very comic accurate. They are actually they're basically the exact same, if not better. And I mean, and the suit is just on board as well. And I'm also surprised by the fact that they didn't actually call her Spectrum, because I think her development, while it started in WandaVision, she's had over a year to change that. So I think maybe they should have gone by Spectrum, or that maybe she'll change her name at the end of the movie. That makes more sense to me. But yeah. And now, that's what she was originally called, but which would make better sense. But if you want to do it in this movie, it's probably better to do it in the end, which will foreshadow more character development with this person. Now, I think her new character will actually add more emotion to her relationship with Carol Danvers, because their friendship was really strange which all stems from their mother, which I think can actually be a good thing for the movie, because it will add a bit of drama and emotion to it, rather than just people fighting in space. Because in the trailers you can't really detect an emotional drag, which I thought was something that was really flawed and which will take away from the fan base. But yeah, I do think her character will have an impact in that sort of form. Now, yeah, as I say, who is Dar-Ben? Yeah, so this is a very, very new character. I mean, I never really knew her character in the comics, but here we are. And now I'm surprised that they have actually gone with this character as the main antagonist, because there have been more, but I have a theory for her character, but it's a long shot. For cultural context, and according to the MCU, she's a revolutionary Kree warrior and accuser, which can be seen by the hammer. Similar to Ronan, and she is the accuser of the Kree Empire. Yeah, so that's that. Now she fights for her homeland in this movie, and she believes that Captain Marvel destroyed her homeland after the long civil war, which happened in Captain Marvel, which is why she's like, I want to kill people now. And obviously, she has the bangle, which is something that the Captain Marvels need, and they're like, well, you're the person that broke my place. I ain't gonna do that. That's basically how this works. So they both want something. She wants Captain Marvel dead. Captain Marvel just wants the bangle. So it's like, can you just hand over the bangle, please? That's all we want. We don't want war. But yeah. Now her arcs actually seems really forced in this movie. I mean, they did have a different approach, which is again that's something I'll theorize later. And her the story arc is really, really forced. But with this character, I think there is more than meets the eye, which is what leads me into this. Who is the villain of the movie? Now, as I said, the main antagonist is Darben. But that's not what I mean. Who is Darben? Now, the original set villain for this movie in the very early development was Moonstone. And this was during early development, and Zor Ashton, who is actually playing Darben, was actually said to become, it was said to play Moonstone. And I think Darben will become Moonstone. Her costumes do change in the trailer, and one of them too looks like an abstract version of the original Moonstone, which is comic accurate with different accents and color tones and color schemes. It also seems stupid to waste a very comic accurate opportunity. So I think that's something that you should never really that's an opportunity you should always get, which is why I think this was really stupid. And like they said, Zor Ashton would play Moonstone, but they never said in what form. They never said that they changed it, but this was obviously not the trailer that we expected in the first place. So there's maybe some underlying with this movie. I do think that's the truth. Now, Nick Fury, great character. We just had now, okay. What's his role? Now, but in this movie, especially after the events of Secret War or Secret Invasion, even, I don't think Nick Fury won't play as much of an important role as he did, because of the it would be just too much spotlight for him. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but it's just too much spotlight. He may have more of a mentor role, a soul of guidance almost, because we know that Carol and him have a very strong friendship, and that they are going to trust. They have good trust in one another. So obviously that'll play an impact on her decisions, and also towards people like Kamala. He won't play that much of a big of a role, but people like Monica and Carol, I mean, he works with Monica. Carol is a friend, so there'll be more of a meaningful role, and that that work relationship will turn into a very strong friendship with Monica by the end of this movie with this whole trouble. So I do think you'll have a more of mentor and soul of guidance, that the wise one, I guess. Because he obviously has experience with the Kree and knows what Carol's history is like, so that's how they all integrate this in all together, which I think is a really good thing to see. Now, there's the bangles are very significant. There is no denying that. They're incredibly significant, and that they with the one problem with the the Miss Marvel series, and the problem with this one. Now, in this movie, it does seem that these items will play a big part in the plot line, starting with Darben. Now, for context, Kamala had the bangle in the series, and which was passed down from generations from Aisha, from the end, or something dimension, and that which it's not from Earth, it's from something dimension, and in her family, and it was seen that Darben has one as well, has the exact same one. But this one actually absorbs power, and then it projects it out, which is weird. Which we can see when Captain Marvel blasts right at the bangle, and then that is immediately emitted at one of the other heroes. So she's basically using the powers against them. It's like absorbing man almost, and this probably will entail a power struggle between the two factions, being the trio and the Kree, and let alone the other issues that are going on at that moment. But these bangles will play a role in the cosmos, leading to the attraction of some other unwanted faces, which I'll get onto in a little bit. But this bangle will not play a big part here. Instead, it will have a rippling effect. Yes, I think this will have a multiversal impact, and possibly have something to do with the Ten Rings, possibly have something to do with Kang's tech, that may be just more evolved, possibly. But I do think there's more than meets the eye with this one, because it's used in this movie and it's used with Miss Marvel, and it may have a big impact in Miss Marvel's role in the Kang Dynasty. We don't know, but I do think these have a bigger role in the cosmos and the multiverse than the Marvel's letting on, which I think we may learn more in this movie. Yep. Okay, I just want you to read the title. Yeah, Kelsey Grammer's Beast. Kelsey Grammer's Beast from the X-Men shows is making an appearance. Now, this is beyond weird. Extremely weird. And somehow, in some way, in some formation, he will be in this movie. It has been said he will be in this movie. And they said that when they said, oh yeah, he's going to be in this movie, and then 2 seconds later, oh no, that's just a rumor. They were like, well, yeah, the cat's out the bag now. But this makes sense somehow in a theory. This is a long shot. This is a slingshot that's from going from one country to another. Very long shot. Now, it's said that Kelsey Grammer's Beast will be working for SWORD, which we know who will have a part to play in the role in the human side of things in this movie, which obviously the cosmic, the humans, and the Kree have all of a role, and the Kelsey Grammer will be a part of that. The reason I bring this up is that it is incredibly weird why this character is appearing, but why only him? This also does confirm that X-Men are coming a bit closer than we think. It has been confirmed that X-Men are definitely they're definitely coming after the Secret Wars, and they'll be the new phase and the new reboot, which kind of makes sense, I guess. But with more familiar faces than we think, which is I don't know how that would be the case though. It's just such a long shot. I mean, yes, he may be working for SWORD, but why? I don't know why that would be the case. It's a very mind one. If you know why, please do let me know. I did read another fan theory that there's another X person that could appear in this movie based on other plot lines from the comics and based off Kelsey Grammer's appearance. So, yeah, take of that of what you will. Oh yeah, I forgot about this one. Yeah, so this is what I meant by this will attract another cosmic entity. Now, who will this movie introduce? As we know that this movie has a lot to do with cosmic entities, and there is one cosmic entity that we have still yet to see. Now, bearing in mind that this is a long shot, basically the exact same one as Kelsey Grammer's Beast, but especially in the context of the post-credit scene, Galactus could make an appearance. With context, obviously. Now, depending on the cosmic events of this movie, this could get the attention of Galactus, and this could tease his closer upcoming appearance in the Fantastic Four. This would need to be a 20-second teaser showing at least the shape of his helmet. That would, obviously pique interest, Galactus is coming. That would get people's attention. A 20-second teaser, maybe 10 seconds. That's all you need to pique the interest of this movie. I know it's a hype stunt, and I know how I've said that I don't like hype stunts. It would work in some shape or form, but that should be a second post-credit scene. After all the credits have rolled, second post-credit scene at max 10 to 20 seconds max. But again, it is an extreme long shot. It does make sense. So, depending on the cosmic say if a Bangle's lost in space, which obviously has a lot of power and hunger, he'll be like, oh, I want to eat that, and then he knows it's Earth, he'll be like, more food. He is a person who likes to eat worlds, and he's very powerful, so this could very much be the case, that there would not be a Silver Surfer. If there is, then it's weird, very stupid, but definitely could have a Galactus in there somewhere. What is the runtime? If you watch my AustinTalks news videos, you'll know this. This is currently one of the shortest in the Phase 5. We're actually in the Phase 4 and 5, adding up to not even 2 hours, which is a really big surprise. Now, to be exact, this movie will be an hour and 45 minutes long, but I do think that this is actually for a very good reason. Now, this is gonna sound insulting because you've heard what I think about this movie, but hear me out. Yes, this is a short movie, but I think this is done for a reason, to give people what they promised. This movie hasn't been hyped in a lot of ways, or in any way, to be fair, and that's not a lie, that's fact, but it is being released in order to make people happy who enjoyed the first one. Now, the reasoning for this is because as of where we are in the story, there's no sort of tie-in, unless there's something that we're missing. There's no sort of tie-in into the storyline, making this seem a bit pointless, which is really heavily reflected in the runtime of this movie. So yeah, I do think the runtime and negative effect of storyline will affect the runtime of the movie and the premise and the idea, which obviously makes sense because that is normal. If it's not they'll release, say it's an episode of Lucifer. They'll have an episode that is not relating to the storyline, but it won't be as long as the other ones, which can be seen with the end of season 3, which I've covered in my Lucifer video. Go check that out. But it's different because if it's not an interesting thing, they won't take a lot of their time. If it's not storyline worthy, they won't take a lot of time of their own if make it. But fans wanted a Captain Marvel 2. Don't get me wrong, they are more than likely just going to be right, we really don't care about this movie, so we're just going to release it anyway. If it's good or bad, we don't care. That is what and I'll get to the what's it called, box office in a little bit, which reflects this. But this is what I mean. It's just that if they're not invested in the storyline themselves, but they're too invested in another storyline which doesn't link, they'll focus more on that than the actual movie. Which takes me to the domestic box office expectations. I'm sorry, but this is just not looking good. Really sad, to be fair, and it is predicted that this movie on opening weekend will make up to between $75 to $80 million. That is not a lot, especially when you see how much they spent on the movie. Now, while that sounds good, and that's just not a lot for Marvel, that's not a lot. It's predicted that overall this will make just over $100 million overall. That's again not good. What is worse that is the budget for this movie was $130 million. An MCU is losing money. That is truly shocking. Now, mathematically, Marvel is losing $30 million, and you may think that is it's Marvel, it doesn't matter, but $30 million is a lot. Maybe not to them, but they may alter their reputation, but we can only hope that these predictions are wrong. I do think they may make a bit more because of popularity reasons. But because obviously it's a Marvel movie, everyone has to go and watch it. I do think $100 million, it will make will probably just about $100 million, but still they're losing money, which is not typical for Marvel. Which obviously takes me to what I'm saying about what they think about what they're saying about the runtime. It's weird. Now, post-credit scene, yeah. I thought so. Now, what will happen in the post-credit scene? Now, this movie and plot has consistently teased the team up between these people and many other with cosmic powers, but there is one person that they're leaving out of the equation here. And if you're looking at the screen, you know what I'm talking about. Now, this movie is supposed to lead into the events of the Kang Dynasty, where we are introduced to the Young Avengers, and we have one member already, but one of them was missing, and that person is Nova. Now, it said a while back that he was getting a series, and I actually think that this will introduce us to a new series, and this is what will carry over. But this would make it he would make an appearance beforehand, maybe in a post-credit scene, possibly in a scene right now. But it would make sense for him to be in a post-credit scene, right? Because then that will set up the Nova series, which can be released or intertwine with the Young Avengers, because obviously they are invested in like cosmic entities right now. So I do think this will be a very good idea. In the final trailer that was just released, I do think this is a very good possibility because of his because there was a blue figure that could be Photon, but Photon was in the background, maybe like an entity, but neither possibly, very unlikely, but possibly. Is that it? Oh, yeah, obviously fan theories. How could I forget fan theories? Oh my god. Now, fan theories. The A-Force is an all-female group. To be fair, we have got the main people, Captain Marvel and She-Hulk. So this would be quite easy to believe. This may be at the time, maybe at the end when Kamala forms this Young Avengers, when Carol forms the A-Force, a secondary group that works with Saber. Somewhat believable now that you think about it. I would request a bit more detail. I mean, yeah, the A-Force is really carried by She-Hulk and Carol, so yeah, that has validity. The original villain of this movie was going to be Rogue, true, but this still could be the case, or at least make an appearance. As we know, Beast's company is making an appearance in the form of Kelsey Grammer, true. That's with an A, not Grammer. But why can't Rogue make an appearance? This would make sense to some extent, and it could reveal that Captain Marvel and Rogue have history if based on comic accuracy. That's a theory, definitely. It may not become true. I think that's a stretch too far. I would like that to be the case. All of it would seem like hype stunts, though, to be fair. In this movie, it is clear that we are going to get much character development with Miss Marvel, and I think that I know that this will be the case. As we know, the Young Avengers are coming soon, and who better to be the leader? This would show that growth of the character from the show, which I think would appeal to fans, making it more meaningful instead of comic accurate. Yes, that is basically just saying she'll be the leader of the the Young Avengers. Yeah, I guess that could be the case. Yeah, okay. All of them have great validity. I'd say A-Force number 1, Rogue 2, that one 3, because like a lot of that no. Like, I mean, they all have great validity and great points. Right, everyone, I hope that'll be the end of today's video. I really do hope you enjoyed, and I really do hope you go and give this movie a watch. I know that I've slammed it in this video, but I'm still going to go and watch it. I've put it on the calendar. I know when I'm going to watch it, and I know what time, but like, do go and watch it if you get the chance. Do go and watch it. Now, without further ado, everyone, I hope you do all have a great day. If you did enjoy the video, please leave a like and subscribe, and comment what else you would like to see on the channel. We've got other videos planned for this week, and we've got some like popular news coming your way this Friday. So without further ado, I hope you all have a great day again, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.